crafters, and welcome back. My name is Deepa from DeeZinesByD, and today I have a Scrappy Tails post for you. So, as you may know, Scrappy Tails recently released the J'adore collection, which is beautiful, and I haven't had a chance to use these large perfume bottles. Now, they are meant to be a 3D dye that is like a pop-up perfume bottle, and you can use that option if you want to, but I decided to make these some flat cards and do a bit of embossing on acetate today. So I have the perfume die set along with the Friends stamp and coordinating dies. So these can be used to coordinate with that perfume bottle. You can interchange the sentiments with the borders, and they all work perfectly together. Now, there are some extra dies in that perfume bottle set that will help you cut out these those sentiments and create a mat. Now, as I mentioned, you could use this as a pop-up, and that's the pop-up piece that can be used with the perfume bottle. You can choose to use that with it or not, like I'm doing today. So my technique today is going to be embossing on acetate. So you are going to need some acetate, nothing special, just some plain old acetate. Make sure it's not too thick. And what you're going to do is cut out your bottle first of all. So the set comes with a large bottle here. You can see I still have some of the dies attached to it because I haven't used it yet. I'll detach those off camera. And then all I have to do is cut out a piece of acetate and cut the bottle. Now I'm going to cut it twice because I'm going to make two versions of this card, but you only really need to do it once. You can see that on one of them, part of the top of the bottle got cut off, but that is okay because we're only really using that large rectangle portion of the bottle. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is add alcohol ink to this. Now, I was going to use that tool with the sponge there, that felt pad, because I thought that I'd need to kind of spread it around and have more of a uniform look. However, that didn't quite work, so in the end, I just added the ink to the acetate. I found that adding the ink directly to the acetate created more of a vibrant color, and you really don't need that felt pad at all. So just make sure to cover the entire rectangular portion of the perfume bottle. And more importantly, make sure it dries completely. Now you can see that I've used light colors here, and there's a reason for that. I don't want it to be like to end up looking like an opaque bottle. I want it to have that bit of that glassy, shiny look so that it looks like a real perfume bottle. So for the first one, I used some Cool Perry, which is a nice light bluey purple. And then for the second one, I'm using some Shell Pink, which is a nice light pink. Now you can see when I have the acetate up against the paper, the color looks very dark and vibrant. But when I pick it up, it really lightens. Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like on top of the white background. You can see it has this nice marble look with those alcohol inks. There's the pink and the purple to compare. So before we put those alcohol inks away, we're going to go ahead and create two backgrounds with the same colors. Now I'm using the exact same colors, which is the Cool Perry and the Shell Pink, but I'm also going to add a little bit, just a little bit of a darker color just to create a bit of contrast. So for the purple background, I'm using the Cool Perry with a lot of blending solution, and then I added just 2 drops of amethyst to create that deeper bluey purple look. And I'm just going to use my blowing tool to kind of spread that around a little bit. You don't have to cover the entire background. I just kind of want like a splash of color. And I'm having it move from the top left to the bottom right of the card. And I'm strategically doing this because I know when I place my bottle on my card front, I want to be putting some of those beautiful flowers that come with this set on the bottom left and the top right. So this kind of allows the color to be amongst the whole background and the whole card rather than having, too much white showing. Now, as you can see here, I have like a scrap piece of paper underneath. I like to do this even though I have that protective mat underneath, just because it's annoying to clean up all the alcohol ink. But if you do have to clean it up, as you can see earlier, I did just use some sanitizer, and we all should have sanitizer in our homes by now. But yeah, that's all you use to clean that up, and it comes off nice and easily. Okay, so now I have both of those backgrounds done, along with the acetate bottles. So I did cut another 2 bottles out of white cardstock because I realized that I did need to have the white behind that acetate in order for the color to show up more. Now, this is the fun part. I'm going to do some embossing on the acetate. So I have this beautiful embossing folder from Spellbinders. This is the peeled orange embossing folder. It has a nice design on it. I've also got this one from We Are Memory Keepers. Unfortunately, I think that folder is discontinued. But I picked ones that have nice designs, which I think that glass bottles for perfume might have. So you can see once it's embossed, the actual embossing is very subtle. And in my pictures, you'll see that it's kind of hard to see it. The only time you see it in the pictures is when you kind of move it around and you can see the pattern off the shine. You can see the embossing off the shine of the bottle. And that's essentially what I wanted, because when you think of perfume bottles that have like a texture or like a sort of embossed look on the glass, this is what it looks like, right? So you can see as I move it in the light, you can see it bouncing off all of the embossing. Now, when you get this in real life, it's a lot more apparent. I definitely recommend giving it a try for yourself and have a look at what it looks like. It's actually really cool. Okay, so for the rest of my bottle, so that's the top half, I've gone ahead and just used that large die and just did some partial die cutting to get the top part of the bottle. I just used some metallic silver cardstock there and attached it to the top with some foam adhesive. Now for the beautiful flowers. Now you can see there are two main flowers. One of them is an open flower and the second one is what I would call closed. Like there's a bunch of metal that's blocking it, so you can't really see through the die. So the way that it works is that the two see-through dies go together and the two closed dies go together, so you know what goes with what. Now I've gone ahead and cut everything out ahead of time. I've cut out some from white glitter and blue for the Cool Perry card. I've cut some from pink and like a coral textured cardstock for the pink card. And then I cut all of the leaves out of some matte silver cardstock and all of the flower centers from some pearl silver cardstock or pearl gray cardstock. And now all I really have left to do here with all of these pieces is assemble everything. Now, as I mentioned, I'll do one of each of the colors. And remember, the two open dies are going to go together. So these are the two that I have here. I've done one already in the blue and white, and here's another one in the pink. So those are the open dies. And now I'm doing the one with the closed dies, and you can see that there's actually embossed lines within that first die cut that shows you exactly where this second piece sits right on top of it. So they're very easy to put together. And once they're put together, they look really nice. I have to say I'm a sucker for florals, but yeah, there are so many great products in this release. I love all the perfume bottles. I love the purse. But I love these florals out of everything. I think I love them the most. So in this instant, I just used some plain liquid glue here to add the flower centers for those two flowers that were more closed, the first two. However, as I continued putting them together, I found that it took a bit to kind of make them stick. So I added just a small piece of foam adhesive in the center to attach the rest of the center to those flowers. And you can see the results are gorgeous. So moving on to the labels, you can see I put all of those flowers together. Now there are two labels that come with the coordinating set for those friends, that Friends stamp set. And there's also these four that come with the perfume bottle. Now, I believe the four that come with the bottle are for matting. So I cut some out of some silver mirror cardstock to mat the labels on top of the white ones that I have here. Those white ones were cut from the coordinating die set that goes with the Friends Sentiment stamp set. And I'm adding a bit of washi to the back of the negative piece that I cut those labels out of. I'm putting this into my MISTI, and this is what's going to help me stamp out those borders. So now I can put my two die cut labels back in there. They're nice and attached there because I put the washi on the back of that negative piece. And now I can line up these two borders and make sure that they're in the center of those cardstock die cuts. I'll stamp them out with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And see, the MISTI came in handy because I didn't get full coverage there. And now I can add my sentiments. Now I love this stamp set because although the sentiments look really small, They all fit inside the label. So that's why they're so small. And you can interchange them. So you can see that number one friend has a sentiment there. I chose to use that other little sentiment that says you're sensational. So I'll line those up in my Missy, and again, I'll stamp that out with some more VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And there we have it. I think that just looks so professional and nice. So those are the two sentiment or labels for the perfume bottles. Now I'll just go ahead and mat them on those silver mirror cardstock pieces that we cut. So remember, the dies that come with the perfume bottle set are the ones that you do the matting with, and then the ones with the coordinating die set are the ones that you can actually cut out the stamped images with. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach them with some foam adhesive to create a little bit of dimension. And those are the two labels. Now let's go ahead and attach them to the bottles. So I'm going to use one on the pink and one on the purple or blue, whichever one you think that is. Purple, blue, I'm not sure. I think it's a mix of purple and blue, right? Once that's done, I'm gonna add some matting onto my card base, which is a 5x7-inch card base. Now keep in mind, these perfume bottles are large, and I'm also gonna be adding those flowers around them, so that's why I chose to go with this larger card size here. So I've added the silver mirror cardstock in the background. There's a little bit of a border there. So as you can see, I cut down those alcohol ink backgrounds. I cut 1/4 of an inch on two sides, on the top and the side. Okay, so that's going to give you 1/8 of an inch border around the entire thing. Something like that. So I'll go ahead and attach the alcohol ink backgrounds. Now I can attach the actual bottles, which I'm just going to place right in the center. And you can see those splotches of alcohol ink just kind of radiate outwards from the bottle, which was the look I was going for. And now, just to add a bit of pizzazz or a bit of glam to these, I'm adding these beautiful flowers. I'll add the blue ones to the bottom left of the bottle and then a couple to the top right. And now, as I mentioned, I did plan that out. That's why I did put the ink, the alcohol ink, where I did. Now, the reason why I did the alcohol ink the way that I did in the background is because I wanted to create kind of like a splash look. So if you look at perfume ads, a lot of them have like the splash of liquid, and that was the look I was going for. I don't know that I 100% achieved it, but it still looks nice in the end, right? And I've mentioned this before, that's generally what I do to find inspiration, especially for glamorous or like glam type projects like these, like the perfume bottles, the heels. You see these things in everyday life, where in magazines, right? So that's all I did. I went online and I'm like, find me some magazine covers with some heels. Find me some magazine covers with some perfume bottles. And then I just look through, find something I like, and get inspired. And that's how I usually come up with the ideas that I get for my cards, especially this round of products, especially because they're in all of the magazines that women usually love to read. So I've gone ahead and I've added all of my flowers here. I'm now adding the leaves, just tucking them in here and there behind the flowers. And I'm just adding that with some liquid glue and my tweezers. I find that the tweezers help get them where I want them to go. And then I can use the opposite end of the tweezer to kind of press it down. So that's pretty much the card there. Now, if you wanted to, you could add another sentiment, maybe just say Happy Galentine's Day or Happy Birthday or whatever it may be. It looks like the sentiment is more for a birthday. I chose more generic sentiments this time because we are actually past Valentine's Day and Galentines Day. That was on the 13th and the 14th. So you can definitely use these sets for any other type of occasion. You could use it for a birthday. You could use more of the generic sentiments for, say, a just because card or an I appreciate you card. And then all you really have to do is just add a sub-sentiment that says the specific sentiment you need. I mean, the labels that are inside the perfume bottle are pretty much just sentiments to say you're a great friend, right? So they could work for any occasion. I could see it working for Mother's Day too. Instead of using the friend, maybe you could cut your stamp if you're one of those people who's brave enough to cut your stamps, or you could mask your stamp and then put like number 1, and then instead of friend here, put mom if you have like small You know, if you have letter stamps, I know that certain brands have letter stamps that you can use and you could put mom in there instead. That would work great for Mother's Day. So, yeah, there's tons of things that you can do with these sets. Now, I'm basically doing the exact same thing that I did for the blue card. I basically placed all of my flowers in the same spots as well. You could switch it up a bit and maybe move it around, but I thought I'd keep it simple for myself. Now, one thing I didn't mention, I was talking about how versatile the sets were instead, is that there's all of these other embellishments. You see on the right side of the screen there, I have all of those beautiful pearls. There's some silver pearls, some white pearls, some blue, and I'm also going to be using some pink pearls to just add a bit of pizzazz and extra shine and glam to this card. So I'm just adding a few of those here and there in the background and on the perfume bottle. And I've mentioned this before, all of these embellishments are from Scrappy Tails. They now carry a boat ton of these, a boatload of embellishments, which are all gorgeous. So definitely do check that out. The link to the store I have in my description below, along with my blog post, which links all of the products that I've used in today's video. Don't forget to check that out. And these are my final cards for you. I hope you've been inspired. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more. And I hope to see you again next time. Have a great day, guys, and I hope you guys had a great Galentines and Valentine's Day. See you again. Bye.